Harris Alley. Hey Harris, good evening buddy, how are you doing? Give me 1 second. Just make sure we're all good here. This crap sometimes just yeah, I think I was quiet. Now it should be fine. I don't know what's up with the microphone sometimes. Wait. It's almost like, good evening everybody. I literally started stream 3 seconds ago. Give me a second. Why is this often getting quiet? Makes no sense. Mute, microphone gain. Yeah, super weird. Okay, super weird. What is your content about? My content is about various types of things. It's programming mostly. All sorts of programming. Infrastructure, front end, back end. A true full stack. Today I'm gonna probably continue with alerts in Grafana and Prometheus in our API. I'm preparing a course for Udemy. And yeah, I just decided to stream a little bit now. Buenos dias. Hey Kian, good. How are you doing, man? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, Twitch. Good to see you all. Thank you very much. I thought it was just shit talking. I mean, if you want to be popular, Rebecca, right? Then you talk shit. I don't want to be popular. I just want to write my code, right? But if you do want to be popular, you have to shit talk, right? Or use split keyboard and or something like that, right? And have 16 years old filling the stream. That is the secret, right? Revaz, good evening, buddy. Thank you very much for your comments. Yeah, something like it has to be dramatic and stupid and childish, right? So like we all gonna be replaced and we should all quit our lives and stuff like that, yeah. So I should start doing the content like that because then actually I can find something useful doing this, guys, right? I mean, I just do this for fun, but imagine actually profiting from doing this. I just have to shit talk all the time. So yeah, that is what I'm missing probably. Give me just 1 second. Let me just 2 seconds. Let me just pin this crap. Yes, nice. Super. I'm in programming. What's your advice? I'm getting to university. I mean, do whatever you have passion for, my friend. Yeah, it's hard to say. I wouldn't dare to give you an advice that you're gonna regret, right? Try to if you're fortunate enough, try to go for what you want to do, not what you might think that you want to do, right? Yeah, and don't jump too much on the AI hype, because a bunch of you are actually doing the same. So many of you are jumping on that stuff that it's crazy, right? So I would be careful going into that AI stuff, because there's gonna be too many of you. All right, let's get started with writing some stuff. Let me just open the right project. Is this the workspace? Nah. Is it? Yeah, nah, it's not. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Where's our workspace? Is this one, right? Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it is. Cool. Okay, sure. So let's go to programming network stuff. Let me just do one thing. Just need to kill these existing containers. What the fuck is... Ah. Alright, never mind. I know what the problem is. It's okay. So I'm just gonna... I mean, you know what, man, like, you shouldn't listen to me, you shouldn't listen to anybody, really. That's, let's just face it, the reality here, right? I mean, we can all, it's easy for me to sit having a job and all of the shit, right? It's easy to me to, like anyone else, right? At the end of the day, all circumstances for people are different, right? So you need you need to see what works for you, and you know, that's just the reality, right? Industry side demanding, I don't know about that. Maybe it is. If you think so, I trust you, but you need to research that, right? You need to research that. I'm not sure about that fully, to be very frank with you. If you say it is, then great, but I'm not sure personally. I'm personally not sure. Give me just 1 second. Okay, it's been a while since I streamed, so I just want to figure. Okay, so last time when I streamed, I don't know what that was, maybe a week ago or something. I don't remember. I started working on these alerts, right? We're kind of building our own little version of Sentry for this Udemy course that I want to do, right? So okay, so let's continue with that. Let's see where we were. So if we go to the UI, let's see what our UI is sending. So if we go to, like, I don't actually remember, so I need to remind myself. Base path, home view. So I have some error handling somewhere, some global, right, stuff. So where is it? It was somewhere maybe inside of it. Yeah, error log. Yeah, so this is what we were working on, right? So this is what we were working on, and essentially what we want to achieve today, hopefully in the stream, is essentially, yeah, so send the error, so capture exceptions, unhandled rejections, and then, yeah, we wanna, yeah, you know, send them to our API, and then we wanna, you know, we want to make sure that they end up in Grafana, right? And then from there, we want to alert, so using alert manager, right? So we want to say alert manager, and then from alert manager we want to alert somewhere, right? Probably to Discord, right? So that's what we want to achieve today, Discord, right? And we want to do this in a kind of generic way almost, so we can have all sorts of alerts, right? That's nice, Chica, that's nice. You still have someone from the Balkans, and Albanians are the best at making food, let's face it, right? Okay, so let's get started. So that's what we're gonna do. Capture exceptions, we're already doing that. We need to send that to our API, right? And good evening, all the gremlins at Campfire, resting eyes. Good evening, man, good to see you. Okay, so let's get started, fellas. My good fellas, my bros, my programming bros. Let's do some work, hopefully. I'm streaming just to try to convert few of you to sign up on Programming Network. So let me just be very, very clear with you. That's why I'm streaming. If you don't sign up on my platform, my stream goes to shit. Okay, so let's now go and do this, right? So let's go to our local host, Grafana. So Grafana localhost, hopefully it's still up, yes. So what we want to do, right, we want to have some metrics, some alerts, and then based on these logs, we want to, right, actually, so that's maybe, right, so essentially, we wanna alert on the logs, right? So for example, in our logs, if we get 400 some status code, or, you know, HTTP status code greater than, let's say 400, or greater or equal than 500, right? Then we want to alert. So we're going to have to write this alert manager YAML template with some of the alerts, right? So this is going to be our condition. I don't remember, it's so long since I've done this, but that is fine. That's why I'm also going to learn something and also get closer to starting recording my course, right? So if we go to the dashboards, they should be there. And if we go to the logs, they should be here as well. So these are our logs, right? Let's say last 5 minutes, so we can see that we are getting them. And today we are actually doing the front end. So we're going to be sending both the error logs. And probably volume is too loud. Let me put it down a bit. So yeah, so let's do that, right? So let's take a look at our API now as well. So this is all kind of a boilerplate that I'm writing here. So if we go to logger in our API, so we're gonna have to rate limit this, right? So on our reverse proxy and on Cloudflare, we're gonna have to obviously rate limit this endpoint because it's gonna be very prone to idiots doing all sorts of things, right? So you can see basically this endpoint is more or less just a proxy, right? Because we can't expose our Loki outside of our orchestrator, outside of our Docker Compose in this case. We need to kind of use our own API to, of course, like if the occurrences of these errors eventually in some sort of infrastructure would become like you're getting thousands of requests of errors, then probably moving this into literally a micro service or even some sort of a serverless function, right? So actually you could say technically that this is even suitable for using like Cloudflare serverless function, right? A service worker basically, right? So we could even avoid doing this here and we could just use a third-party service, like to not even bug our API with this. But it doesn't really matter. This is gonna be for the course. I just need to memorize to mention some of the alternatives once I record all of this crap. Okay, so yeah, so this is supposed to send the logs to our API, and I'm actually not going to stringify this whatsoever. I need to find a way to actually send this properly to our Grafana, right? Through our Loki. So yeah, so where is this interface? Is it this one? No, it's this one. So let me actually do something like this. I will be logging this using Pino and eventually using for my logs that I send using Loki promtail. What can we do to I don't know, aggregate this structure so it fits the logs better? Let's see. I don't actually know how to even compose a question, but let's see. Alex, what was your experience using React for the first time? Was it so? When reactjs came out, I actually hated it very much, and let me explain why. So when reactjs came out, right, I don't know when that was, maybe 10, 15 years ago, I don't exactly remember. We were all writing jQuery, Angular, and Knockout.js, Ember.js, a lot of the crap, you know, JavaScript community. And when reactjs came out, I hated it for a long time because you know, I love separation of concerns. Like before, for example, in the 2000 something, you would build your own render, right? You would write your own render or use some library, so you separate your HTML payload from your JavaScript. So for example, in AngularJS 1 and Knockout and Ember, we weren't merging the HTML and JavaScript or HTMX as we have today or JSX or whatever. So initially I hated that, because I was really against mixing up these two things, right? Because it was very messy. But then over time, I actually started liking it, and then I realized that React.js 1 mainly because it's so simple, right? React.js is an idiot level library that literally anyone can learn, which is why it's so popular, right? It's so easy. So yeah, when it came out, you could say that, yeah, it was a big thing. It was a big thing because AngularJS, for many people, especially people who don't know how to code even today, it's very complex because today you have decorators and dependency injection and modules and bunch of stuff that people who suck at coding don't know, right? And React.js is basically you can create a component and then you can compose these components together, and that's really all that there is to it. So you could say that React was a fresh thing and very welcoming by people who can't code, because you don't need to know any patterns, right? When you do React, you don't need to know a single pattern, you can still build some UI. With AngularJS and some of these things, right, you need to be a programmer a bit, because it's naturally AngularJS was built by a C# team at Microsoft, right? Like at least in combination, Igor Minar and these guys, right? So you know, they use some of the existing patterns that we've been using for 30 years in programming, right? But yeah, so that's just how it was when it came out, and it still is, right? You can still write reactjs and not know anything about programming at all, right? That is the beauty of it. You just learn, import this, run this here, do this there, and that's why Next.js and that monolithic garbage is so popular, because it's an idiot level, right? Anyone can do that, really. You install Next, Nuxt, all of these server-side so-called frameworks. That's not even programming. That is mostly just put this thing here, install this thing here, run this map loop over a few things, right? Click here to deploy. So it's so high level that's why it's so popular, right? Any beginner can jump on it without actually having absolutely any clue how that works, right? So that is why it's popular, right? He's being full stack with a, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean possible, right? And that is not full stack, right? That depends who you ask. Everything's possible, but that's a very, sorry, can't answer. A little bit vague question, right? You need to be a little bit more specific, because I can't give you anything. Okay, sorry. Let's get back here. So all right. So first and foremost, what we need to do now is we need to make sure that I can actually push an error like this. So actually, you know what? Let's go to the UI just for a second, just so we can smack in some... Actually, you know, even better... Crap, yeah. So let's use either curl or postman, right? So let's create a new postman. Let's actually go to README. Let's take a look at our Swagger. So I guess it's API and docs, right? So take a look at our Swagger. This is kind of what we need to send, right? So this is the payload that our front end would send if it fails, right? So we're kind of building our own version of Sentry now. So let's go to, what's it called? Postman, right? And let's do an HTTP request just so we don't waste time with refreshing the page. That's a little bit silly, right? So we would do something like this. Subscribe. Oh, thank you very much for the sub, man. That's very kind of you. Thanks. And let's just say, let's open the composer and let's say, you know what? Fill that error with dummy data, just so I can spam now this API that's gonna propagate these errors to my Grafana and Prometheus. Actually, Prometheus has nothing to do with this. This is just Loki, just aggregating the file logs and giving them there, just parsing them with Grafana, right? So basically, as I said, we need to do this, right? So now we're gonna capture the error and handle the exceptions, send them to our API. Our Loki is gonna, as it does, read the file, right? Our prompt tail is gonna capture that. Our Loki is gonna read it. We're gonna visualize it in Grafana. We're gonna see the logs in the table, and then we're gonna do alert manager on our logs, right? So when a specific log entry appears, we're gonna use our alert manager to send a message to Discord, right? So that's what we want to achieve this stream. That's because I need to teach that in this Udemy course I'm gonna record, right? So let's do this, and this is, let's say, some fake error. It generated for me. Beautiful. Let's what was the endpoint? If we go to our Swaggerio here, as I call it, our Swagger. Let's copy this bad boy here, and then yeah. So it's gonna be essentially, right, like, because we're using reverse proxy here, so it's gonna be localhost API, maybe v1. I don't remember. Did I version the API for this course? Yeah, I probably did. I suppose API v1, or let's see. Nah, okay. So it's the other way around, maybe, right? Or maybe it's just API logs report. No, okay. No, okay, let's see. API, it's a post, sorry. It's a post. Cool. Okay, smack it in. Page not found. Beautiful. A localhost API, we're missing an I there. There we go. Right, so now let's spam a few of these things, because fundamentally now, if we actually go to our if we view our logs here, we should actually see them. There they are. Oh, so nice. Super. You see? So we are actually parsing them properly. Ah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, now of course, so as you can see, that is all great, right? So we're getting the user agent from the browser, and we're getting the message, the stack. That's super nice, because we need to then write a alert manager template, so it can kind of give us a nice message in Discord or Slack or whatever system we're going to be using this with. The only thing that kind of lacks here, right, because this is almost like a proxy endpoint. That's its only purpose is just to get something and send it to a different system. It would be nice if we also include a code here, right? Because, for example, this is clearly a 500, right? So you could say, because this is an type error, for example, you could say that in theory, like because this is Frontend is throwing these for now, you could say that this is 500, but yeah, we need to classify. We need to classify these errors to a level where we know how to react to them, because if this was a validation error, then we probably wouldn't want to log there to Sentry, right? So we just want to log things when they, or maybe we just want to log all the errors. I don't know. Maybe for now, let's keep the scope. Let's not allow the scope creep to jump in. So let's imagine this is how the error is approximately going to look like. We have a level. Yeah, okay. So we have that in our logs now. Actually, if I go to the dashboards here, no, yeah, is it this maybe? Last 5 minutes, yeah, so I probably need to update this. Let's not do any line formatting or anything. Let's just run this query. Let's say table, refresh, service name, fastify. It is Loki, right? Yes. And we have some transformations here, so I suppose they might be messing things up. Actually, I did this a couple of weeks ago, so that's not going to work. Okay, so here we see the logs now, right? So we'll need to actually update that thing. If we go into the table mode, level 50, right? So this is kind of the error, right? So we can see it here. Yeah. All right, let's do it like this. So let's go ahead and create a new dashboard, and we're gonna call it. We're gonna say Loki, right? Because we're getting these errors through our Loki, and we're gonna call this dashboard. Let's call it UI errors, front-end errors, right? Something like that for now. Save, okay. And then over here, we're gonna say that file name is. So essentially, when you're using Loki, when you're logging file-based logging, right? You can see here that we're basically saying, hey, read this file, read the logs from the file that my system is writing, right? And if we actually go to the API somewhere, right? If we go to set up something, maybe plugins or something, let me find it for you. Somewhere, right? We are somewhere. Once I find it, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Yeah, so it's basically here, right? So you can see when you create a Fastify instance, imagine this was Express.js or Go or some different language, right? Doesn't really matter, right? You can see we have Pino logger enabled. Of course, we need to do logging. But then we're doing file-based logging, right? So we're saying, hey, I want my API to produce file logs. So not std out like normally you would do, just printing a, right? So that's why when we go here to Loki, we can say, hey, this is the file that has a volume for this specific container, right? So here we're gonna say Fastify API, and then if we just run that, we should get a bunch of logs, right? That's the bare minimum we can do here. Now what we need to do, right? So this is the next step. The next step is just showing the errors from the UI. So we don't care about the regular logs. We just care about the logs coming from the UI, which actually, going back to what I said, it would be great if we extend this with a type, right? So we can differentiate the errors. Like, so it would be nice if we had something like type, you know, UI error, something like a constant like this, right? Then it makes it easier to filter out these types of errors from, maybe we're gonna have API errors, right? And then some other system errors, right? Maybe we're gonna have a bunch of other, in this course, I'm not gonna do more microservices, but if I did, I would then extend this enum, right, with more things. So actually, let's do that. So let's go to, I don't actually know where, but once I see it, I'll know. So let's go somewhere to the front end that's basically sending these. Yeah, let's go to utils error logger, yeah. And then in the error logger here, we can just hard code this constant, right? So we're gonna say error type, maybe to be a little bit more explicit. Are we using? Yeah, I mean we're not using. Yeah, I guess we can just say. Nah, fuck type is no. That's not enough. Let's just call this maybe error origin frontend. Ah, I like that. Yes. Actually just origin, because yeah. The only confusion here could be whatsoever that you have an origin in the browser as well, like on the location somewhere or whatever. But nobody is gonna. Yeah. And because I'm generating this HTTP library on the API using some Docker, using this Swagger generator, we need to go to the API schema as well and update this so the front end actually agrees with this. So we need to go back here. We need to go back to the API logger schema. And then here we need to say origin. Is there an enum here? Yes. Origin enum. Beautiful. Yes, super. So this is going to be front end, right? And then that enum is going to be exposed. Beautiful. In the UI as well. Cool. So let's now go. So orchestrator, yes. So if we open some package JSON from the front end, we have this bad boy here. So let's go back here, I think. And let's run this to generate an HTTP client library for our UI. Beautiful. That's super. So now we should have this in the UI as well, propagated to the UI. Let's close that. That should be fine now. That should be fine. And this guy is complaining we probably need to restart the TypeScript server. Is there a TypeScript server? Restart, reload, restart, TypeScript restart TS server, yes. And boom, right? Because now we are generating our, this is the beauty. This is such an amazing thing, right? When you have a Swagger spec, instead of writing HTTP client libraries manually yourself, you just generate it from your Swagger spec. So as you can see in our UI, we're not writing HTTP clients. We're just saying, generate my HTTP library, Axios, TypeScript, or whatever from my spec, right? Let's import this properly whatsoever. So origin enum should in fact exist. Yeah, I think that's correct, right? Yeah, that's a bit weird though, right? You would expect this to be a... I mean, yeah. I mean, you know, the worst case, hopefully, I can just say frontend. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Let's actually go to the, where was that? Let's go to that schema, because in that schema, I believe we messed up a bit, probably. Yeah, over here, right? I mean, can we do some more stuff in here? I don't know. Can we do like... Yeah, I don't actually... It would be nicer, I mean, for sure it would be nicer if it was enum, right? But as soon as we set it to enum, which is weird, it creates an... That makes no sense. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But it would have been better if it was an enum. But fuck it. Let's generate our client-side library again. And let's go to the UI. So as you can see now, TypeScript server has restarted, so it's actually, it likes this, because it's just a string, right? Cool, 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 cool. Okay, so if we go to Postman, and what would this, we call this origin, and then frontend, if we send this bad boy here, success true, if we take a look at our logs, we should see actually 2 new entries, hopefully. Save last 5 minutes. Let me just save this for a second. Give me 2 seconds. Let's go to logs here. Let's take a look at the Fastify logs. So over here, we should have gotten the red thing. And here it is, right? So if we take a look at the origin, we see the front end, which is pretty awesome, right? Thank you very much, everybody, for your follows and stuff. I'm sorry I don't have these notifications just so they don't what is called, annoy people. It's very annoying when you get bing, bing, and stuff like that, right? Okay, origin front end. So that's good. So now we have something reliable to filter them on. So we know every time when an error comes from our UI to our API and then our Loki and our Grafana, we can use the origin instead of doing strange things, figuring out where is this originating from. Okay, so if we go back to this new dashboard we just created, UI errors, and if we edit that, and I'm not an expert at the Grafana, so we're going to have to use AI a little bit here, right? So what I'm going to do, I do know some stuff though, but not enough, to be very frank with you. I think we need to like unpack and I actually don't remember what happens if you run this. Time series. I love her bush. Oh, what a nickname, man! I love the internet. It's just so many trolls. Hi to you as well, man. Oh, dude, that is amazing. All right. Okay, you're not. I see. No worries. No worries, man. Oh, completely without. Good evening, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Is this the one? Yeah, okay, it is. Okay. So now we have to basically okay, so let's now play safe here, right? Ah, it's your girlfriend. Wow. I mean, I'm married, man. My wife probably wouldn't wouldn't want me that. Okay. So how would I now extract that in Grafana? For example, the above JSON is extended with origin frontend. and I only want to show filter by that property. Give me just 1 second. I really want to solve this, and then I'm going to give you guys all of the time that I have to answer all sorts of questions that I can help with. I don't think this is going to work, but we can give it a shot. Oh, it does work. Beautiful. Super. Have you tried DeepSeek? Actually, I have. What the fuck was that? Wait, my command doesn't work? Give me 1 second. Wow, what a useful command. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful command. You type GitHub and it gives you the GitHub back. Can you imagine? Wow. Give me 1 second. No, it is online. Oh, I fucked up. Give me a second. No. Wait, let me fix it. I have a bot. I'm using a local bot. Give me 1 second. Here it is. I just fixed it. Let's try now. Oh, fuck. Wait. Misspelled. Abort. There we go. Super. All right. Sorry for that. Okay, beautiful. So you can see now, because we have an origin property here on the object, we're saying, hey, take the logs, kind of extract into JSON, and then I want you to filter by the origin here, right? So now we can see only the front-end errors, right? Which is awesome, right? So we're building our own little version of centric.js now, right? So instead of paying for these services in this infrastructure course that I'm going to record, I want to showcase how we can use the existing tools of our own infrastructure and have proper logging, telemetry, observing, metrics without needing to introduce third-party tools besides these that we are already using for free, right? Grafana, Prometheus, etc., Loki. So now we have these errors over here, and yeah, that is cool. So of course now we can go into transforming this data to look like X, Y, Z. I don't think we're gonna go crazy with that now, but we can say, hey, I want to transform, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's what it is, right? That's what it is. So okay, so this is almost sufficient now for us to maybe be able to already create some alerts, right? So we need alert manager to appear here. So here we need to say UI errors. Source would be Loki, yes. State would be normal. But no, why am I doing this, man? So we would need to create a new alert rule based on Loki. Right, Rebecca, right. Standard Rebecca. I missed you. UI errors. Okay, so let me just go and edit this fella, right? So we're gonna try to smack this bad boy here. It should, in theory, do the same thing, right? I know. Same here. Yeah. So it needs to be wide series, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is right now. So, but we'll see. So let's see what do we get when we do that. Okay. Okay, so let's use AI a little bit. I mean, I shouldn't be shy to use AI. I mean, that's the future, right? Then we have that. Yeah, so let's adjust this now so it fits alerts in Grafana. And to avoid this, right? Actually, DeepSeek is awesome. So actually, there's few things that I would share with everybody, right? So for example, Mistral is probably the fastest so far what I've used. So if I actually, give me a second, where is it? Where is my, actually it's so weird, why is it not here? So Mistral AI is probably the fastest so far from what I've used. DeepSeek is also very awesome. Where do I log in, man? Why is it not of, something happened with my bookmarks, I don't know what. Should be here, man. Super strange. It literally should be here. I don't know why is it not though. Anyway, either way, let's go here. So for example, Mistral is something that you should definitely give a shot to. Let me just log in to it. So let me show you how fast it is. So far the fastest from all of them. So for example, tell me something about DeepSeek. Super fast. Look at the response now. Usually it's super fast. Let's see now. Yeah, this is, yeah, maybe a little bit slower than Ginger, but let's see another question we're gonna ask now. Tell me about Docker. What is it, for example? Let's see. Okay, maybe the demo curse of the stream. Maybe too many. I guess their servers are now dying a little bit. This one was the fastest. DeepSeek is also awesome, and I like I love the where is my bookmark? DeepSeek, yeah. I love the deep thinking, right? So you can see its reasoning. You can see how it goes back. Right? But Mistral so far is the fastest of what I've tried. Okay, let's wait. Super. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not an expert in Grafana, but I know more than enough to rational. I mean, I agree with you, Lorenzo. It's not that it's necessarily a feature, right? It's not that it matters. I agree with you. But I think fundamentally, at the end of the day, after all these battles are done, we're gonna have to take certain variables to differentiate which one we use. So I agree with you that speed is definitely not like the most important thing now when it comes to these models, but it will be. It will be eventually, right? We're still at the start, you could say, but I anticipate in a year or less or two, it's gonna be instant, right? But I'm trying the new models all the time. I also run them here on my server at home. So yeah, for sure. Okay, this is awesome, right? So far we have so this works now. Yeah, man, like I remember actually this UI. It's not, but anyway, let's see. So table Grafana managed, data source managed. So UI alerts. Origin. A frontend. Save, okay. And then I believe we'll need to create these contact points, right? So these contact points, if I recall, are going to be webhooks or something like that, right? So the contact points here, we're going to have a webhook or something. Ah, actually, they do have a Discord. Nice, nice, nice. Cool, cool, cool. So you can see, right? So this is very good. So we're going to create a Discord webhook. And then when an alert happens, we're gonna get an error on our Discord, right? So this is very, very powerful. So as you can see, yeah. So I'm just gonna create this thing with then we can do a little bit of templating here, the title, the message content, blah, blah, blah. User Discord webhook username. Very good, actually. When I did this the last time, this didn't actually exist and they probably have Slack here as well. Google Chat, but I'm sure Slack is at the, so they have a webhook in general. Here is the Slack stuff as well. And this is what we need. Okay, let me just go to Discord. And Lyso, hey Lyso. All right, let's call this Discord. Title. Actually, I don't remember this, to be very frank with you, but let's just say here. I actually don't remember this, which is fine. Have no idea. I forget about this completely. Avatar, URL, whatever. Actually, don't care. Let's actually test this. Send test notification. Did I get it in Discord? Yeah. Or did we actually get it? Yeah, here it is, right? So if I do test, you can see we're getting the message from our Grafana, right? So we're almost there. We're almost there. So now, so what do we want to do? Well, we want to say, hey, I want to get an alert like this when there's an error in my UI, and of course the API as well, but now we're doing the UI, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, so we can see that the webhook is fine. So let's save this contact point, and then let's go back here and refresh this, and then we're gonna use Discord as a contact point. I have no idea what this is. Ah, okay, so define the rules when not to send it. I see. Okay, so let's just see here. This is an error originating from your UI. Okay. Web page where you keep your runbook for alert. I have no idea what that means. Have no idea what that means. Pending period, set evaluation behavior, new evaluation group, create an evaluation group. Yeah, so let's set this to none because we want to get an alert instantly when it comes. But that's kind of shitty. We don't want to be getting messages every second. We want the system to aggregate the errors and then send them. So instead of getting one message every time it happens, it aggregates it, and then we get, you know, hey, you had 30 errors, whatever, right? But we'll see about that. It doesn't matter. It's just, I don't know if we need any other condition, though. So here we are saying the alert condition is if the error has occurred past 5 minutes, right? Then do it. Preview. Yeah, I don't know if we need to do anything else. Yeah, we can do all of that. This for sure. Alert UI errors. Let's call it like that. Save and exit. Group name, none? Or do we have to create it? 1 minute group. Create. Yep. Okay, save and exit. Great, so now we have a group, And let's see here, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and trigger some errors, right? Let's go to our cursor and let's trigger 3 errors. I don't know if this actually works. In theory, it should. And then if we actually go to our dashboard, we go UI errors, we edit this. Actually, let's make sure it's wider. And then we edit this. So we do indeed have done 3 of them. So let's see if so here's one rule that we have: 1 minute, normal, origin, front end, Loki, pause, evaluations, copy, link, export. Has it been a minute since we... Oh, there we go. It works. Yes. So there we go, right? So it works. Of course, it's not fully complete. We can now transform the data, create a nicer templates that will arrive here. So think about centric.js basically, right? So that is... so this is what we're kind of mimicking just for free. I don't know what looks good to me is, but we are using Prometheus. Prometheus is a must. Prometheus and Grafana are kind of standard, right? So that's what we're using here. Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, Promptail, and then a bunch of other. I think we have around 20 something containers for this course that I'm recording, right? So if we go to our trainer here, if it's still up, no, it's not. I think we have around 20 something containers. So actually, if we go over here, so we have the bullboard, we have traffic, our reverse proxy, Redis, Prometheus, Promptail, Node Exporter, Alert Manager, Postgres, Portainer. We have the user interface, Loki, Grafana, 3 instances of our API, and then log rotation, and WhatsApp Docker, and Cadvisor, C-Advisor, right? Container advisor, basically. Okay, this is awesome, right? So you can see we had the thing evaluated, created, right? If we go into it, this is an error originating, and then if we go to our Discord channel, so you can see this, of course, sucks ass the way that it looks like, right? But you can see this is an error originating from the UI, so of course we can... My pleasure, Lyson. Good to see you again, man. So you can see we'll of course, yeah, so, and I don't know if we click this, what actually happens. Of course, this localhost 3000 isn't correct. But if I go grafana.localhost, which is what my traffic reverse proxy is going to resolve, yeah, it takes us kind of here. I guess here we can see what some of the stuff, I don't know, that's not useful. So I'm not going to go into super detail here. That's not going to be fun. So, but the system works, right? So at the start of the stream, what was it? 50 minutes ago, we wanted to do basically this, right? And that's kind of what we're doing. So let's just recap. So in our user interface, we're using window.onError, which is how Sentry and all of these products that you pay for typically capture errors in the browser. So in the browser, you have window.onError API, right? You have this event. And whenever you have unhandled exceptions or rejections, like promise rejections, you use the onError event, right? So and this is you can always count on this. So what we are doing in our UI, we're capturing this, sending it to our API, right? So capture exceptions, unhandled rejections, proxy through our API. Our Loki is gonna, of course, write these logs. Then through Promptail and stuff, we're gonna get to the Grafana. Then we're gonna create some dashboard. Then off of that dashboard, we're gonna alert off of specific. In this case, we're doing a very simple thing. We're saying whenever an error that originates from the front end is part of our logs, log it to whatever. In this context, as you can see, Discord. But of course, you would want to do this maybe more fine-grained over time. Like, is it a 400? Is it a 500? Etc., etc., right? So sometimes there are certain errors that you don't want to log. So this is typically what centric.js and these paid products offer by they expose an API, like an interface, a function where you exclude certain errors. So you say if error.message includes, or you use regex, right? If it includes this string, don't log the error. But for us here, it's even easier because here, of course, in Grafana, we'll be able to just say, hey, you know, Cedric, my dear friend. Cedric is, by the way, part of the team. Cedric, actually, let me make you a moderator. How can I make you a moderator? Give me 1 second. Because Cedric is now a part of the Programmer Network team. Let's go to moderation now. I don't know how to use this crap, man. Roles manager. Roles manager. Nice. I don't know either, man. But then you can ban people. Like, I know that's useful, right? I know that's useful, right? At least. Is this you? I mean, this has to be you. Yeah. Let's say moderator. Now you can ban people, right? So, wow, what an avatar. What an avatar. Look at this. Awesome, man. Thank you very much for signing up. Thank you very much. We want to build awesome platform for developers. So please, if you have 1 minute, obviously the platform is built in the stream, but over time, hopefully, when you get sick of when many of you get sick of existing platforms filled with bots, right? It basically dead internet theory, if you don't know, right? So once this happens, that internet theory happens, hopefully Programmer Network is going to be a platform where human beings will, or developers will be talking to each other. If you don't know what a dead internet theory is, it's a theory, it's an assumption that, and this is already happening on LinkedIn, it's happening on Twitter, on Reddit. You have so many bots that at the end of the day, bots will be talking to other bots, right? So much engagement on LinkedIn, on Reddit and stuff, so much content is written by bots where also other bots interact with that. So the dead internet theory means like, hey, there's almost going to be no organic traffic by real people. It's just going to be bots talking to each other. So hopefully we can ban bots in Programmer Network if that happens. But yeah. Yep, pretty much. Today I use I don't know what that is. Let's see. Actually, I'm an expert at this, Leo. I'm probably one of the, you could arguably say without any humbleness in my heart, I'm probably one of the biggest experts on analytics on the planet right now. I don't actually care about this. It's just analytics, right? This is the documentation of analytics from the company where I work. So you can actually take a look at this. This is the analytics script that I built with my team. You can actually take a look at the tracking here. I think we have built the tracking solution that's probably most complete on the planet, right? We support nearly everything and we keep extending it every day. Sorry, how do you plan to verify user is actually human? To be very honest with you, by other humans. So I think it's a very good question. I have no idea. I have a feeling that if Cedric and I build the platform and hopefully more people join to help building the platform over time, I have a feeling, which is very prone to abuse, of course, but I have a feeling that the community itself can mark these things as, hey, does this person sound like a human, right? Of course, you can't really. I don't mind people using AI to check grammar on their stuff, right? But if you're just using bots to produce content for the case of engagement, then that's terrible. Then what's the point of these platforms anyway, right? So It's a good question. I don't think that anyone knows these answers. I mean, I would be an asshole even more than I am if I said that I know the answer, right? My assumption, my personal prediction is that human race, you're gonna have people like now, consumerists, who don't actually care. They will buy shit if you sell it to them. They will not care where the content comes from. And then you're gonna probably have a smaller percentage of people who actually do care to listen to music, you know, recorded by real people, to talk to real people, to consume the content by real people and to attach to them. And for this small percentage of people, Programmer Network is for. So even majority of you here probably don't give a crap because you have far greater problems in life probably than caring if something is written by human or not. But we're still early. In time, right, for sure, people will just crave again for, because think about the irony, right? When YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all the platforms, when they came out initially, they were actually for humans. You would speak to your mom on Facebook, you would speak to your high school friend, you would, right? Today, these platforms are nothing like that. How do I know? Because I work for a company and we are partnering. I mean, my company is partner of LinkedIn. We talk to these guys, right? These platforms are literally now for two things, engagement and sales, right? So LinkedIn is, when you go to LinkedIn, it's all about sales, right? Somebody is trying to sell you something. Content is written for the engagement reasons. It's not really written by real people. So anyway, my prediction, I'm not saying it's going to be Programmer Network, but I'm sure we're going to see huge influx of social platforms in the future for segregated groups of interests, right? So you're going to have specialized networks for people who care, because people will actually, hopefully, at least some percentage of people will start caring about how they spend their time, right? So when they go to a platform for programmers or designers or musicians, they want to spend little time they have in a quality way. Hey, I don't want to see images of Donald Trump or Biden or fucking, I don't know, some prostitutes there. I just want to see things that interest me, and I want to tailor my own experience to the interest that I want, right? So this is my personal prediction. I mean, it's just out of the asshole prediction. Who knows, right? It might be completely wrong. I have no idea, right? But that's my feeling and that's my conviction almost. Zerio, good evening, buddy. How are you? Whatsoever, keep in mind that, yeah, it's going to be a small percentage of people who care about these things, right? Because I also want I also want to implement Nostr, right? So with Cedric, I want to implement Nostr, for example. If you don't know, Nostr is a decentralized protocol, right? I also want to implement ActivityPub as well, even though it hasn't been really maintained much, right? So I would really, but many people don't actually care about this, right? But there's a lot of stuff. But who knows? We'll see. Let's go back programming. Let's write some code. Okay, so we're almost end to end now done with this, right? So we're doing this. Check. So let's mark it green. Obviously, check, right? We need to rate limit here, right? So we need to rate limit this endpoint, right? Kinda not really done. Not really done, and this is done, right? So essentially now the work really is going to be just making nicer templates and making sure that the message that we kind of smack to this bad guy here looks nicer, right? So you can see how it's formatted now. And of course, it would be nice that we link to the error log in Grafana, so a developer that gets the error can just click on a link and say, okay, let me read a call stack, for example. Let me see where this error happened. Let me see who encountered this error. So we need to be very careful about PII data, personal identifiable data, right? Because you also need to be careful what data you send to your services like this, because you don't want to be sending emails, you don't want to be sending, but also you need to kind of send something where you can know, hey, which user experienced this, so maybe my CS, my customer support can reach out to this user and say, hey, John, hey, Anna, I can see that, you encountered this error, can we help you resolve it, right? So you always kind of have to have some sort of identifier, which means, right, that somewhere in our API over here, right? Over here, we're gonna have to extend this. We're gonna have to decorate this thing with some user ID. And for example, right now, we can't really, so this is another problem. You would want that, wouldn't you? The biggest problem with whatsoever this, right, is that we can't always have a user ID, right? Because in order for us to always know who experienced the error in our system, we would need to put this behind a logged in decorator or whatever, some hook that ensures that. So the user ID, right? User ID is going to sometimes be there if the user is logged in, and if the user is anonymous, then it's not going to be there, right? So, and considering we don't have any tracking or anything like that, because typically when you track, right, as I explained maybe sometimes, actually, let me not get there. I don't think you guys care. It's too much theory. But yeah, okay. Just give me a second, I'm thinking. Let me just take a look at my database here. Okay, so I suppose what we want to do is we want to say, hey, if there's a user, and the main reason why it's complaining here is because if we take a look at my types, the user itself doesn't actually have an ID here, right? And I think the ID is most likely because, and that's also something we shouldn't do. I'm going to change this for this course. The ID should really be a UUID, right? I don't know why is this one complaining now. Zeria, what are you interested in? What do you want to talk about, please? Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to sign this into the cookie, right? So, but whatever. Okay, I'll need to recap. I'll need to review all of this stuff anyway, right? Yeah, so in this case now as well, we would need a decorator. You know what, actually, it's okay. Actually, let's just ensure that only a logged in user can in fact do this. That is perfectly fine. So yeah, let's just not complicate it. No need for that, right? So yeah, exactly, right? So let's go here. Let's smack this bad boy here. Let's go into here. We know that the user ID is always going to be there. We don't need we don't need conditional operators because we know that the ID is always going to be there. What am I doing now? Well, I mean, yeah, it's hard to like, you need to kind of really focus in order to understand. As I said, right now we're just building alerting, making sure that our alerts work, right? So as I explained here, right, we are capturing some errors in the UI. We're going to do the same, obviously, from the API. We're capturing some errors, and then when we do so, we want to visualize them. We want to have a dashboard for them. Then we want to alert on these errors so we know when our system is failing or parts of our system are failing. UI, API and other microservices, we want to be able to know that, right? So that's kind of what we're doing now, right? And we're just proxying this error here, and then we say, hey, actually, we probably don't need to return anything here, though. So I'm actually not going to return success at all. We're just going to do void here. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to take a look at the schema response. Let's just say... I think we can technically do this if I recall, right? Nice, unauthorized, you can see, right? So let's go ahead and grab the JSON Web Token from the browser, from localhost. What was it? Localhost UI. Okay, cool. We should have a JSON Web Token stored, right? EFS cookie, infrastructure for code cookie. Let's go to authorization, bearer, paste it. Okay, so as you can see now we're good. Status okay. Beautiful. You could even, okay is fine, sure. Then if we go back to we should get a new alert soon on Discord. Yeah. 20. Yeah, so I expect to see another one here soon. Then if we go to this dashboard, here we can see the actual error. Let me actually save this. Nice. And then let's go to Discord. We should see, where is the timestamp on these messages? We're actually, 38. So yeah. So if we go to alerts now, evaluation time 0 seconds. So basically it takes, okay, so maybe for testing here, right, we should just not actually wait for a minute, you see. So let's create a new evaluation group and say no wait. Okay, I guess, how often all roles in the group are evaluated? 10 seconds, okay. 10 seconds group. Cool. Save rule and exit. $38. Yeah, we didn't get it yet, but I believe it's because of this little wait time that we have, right? Because I can see here in the UI errors that we did in fact get it, so that's awesome. This is the, and then we're gonna need to format that a little bit better. Still waiting, firing. What is this? Let's leave that. Alerting, alert rules. Let's send a few more messages. Let's refresh this. Here they are. Okay. So now hopefully it should be faster. Let's take a look at that. Show state history. Let me actually just remove this so we can kind of see a bit better when they arrive, because they're demo messages anyway. Grafana 38, yeah, that's not the one, right? Yeah, very interesting. I would have expected this to have arrived so far, but not really. History, yes. So detail, let's see, query and conditions, that's correct. Errors past 5 minutes. Yes, sure. 10 seconds group. Evaluate every 10 seconds. Yes, so... I mean, yeah, it's probably gonna come. It should, right? It has to. It's just a little bit weird. I would have expected it to arrive already. So that's a bit weird. At least based on the rules we created. So evaluate this rule every 10 seconds. So it should have been evaluated so far, right? No, I don't think it's a Discord's rate limit. No, I mean, we only sent... we have only sent, like, evaluation group. 10 seconds group. Yeah, so this is all... But it could be, yeah, it could be that Discord is kind of rate limiting us, but I don't think so. I wouldn't think that. But okay, that's great. Let's chat for a second. Let me just get some water here, and then we continue coding. So now it's a good time for questions. Any questions, friends? Yeah, we haven't leaked the hook. No, we have not. We have not done that. No. All right, let's take a few questions now before we move. Twitch chat. Give me 1 second. Let's put this thing maybe like this. Nah, put it maybe here. Nice, cool. How many did I ban? Did I ban enough? Elias, what are you creating? Just alerting in my infrastructure. So I'm gonna be recording soon the Udemy course finally, and I just I just need to do this now. Oh, so you can read the chat of people that I banned. Is that true? Can we like do that together? Can you really read the chat? Really? How? How? Let's do it, man. Wow, okay. Where do I do that? How? Where? Jesus. What is this? Crap. Man, that's gonna be fun. Where is it? Community, maybe. Okay, what now? But where do I see banned people? How can I hide this crap? Do I have to look at myself? How can I... Bottom left. Oh, here. Is it this? Can I hide this crap, man? I don't want to look at myself. Can I... How... Jesus Christ. So what is happening? What should I do? Is everything fine? Can you guys hear me? So what do I do now? Click on them. Oh, dude, this is good. Wait, let me hide this chat. Wait. Collapse. What? No. Huh. Yes, nice, nice. All right, let's see how people insult me. Keep struggling. I helped build the cloud. Okay, cool, man. That's great. Wow. Okay, I just want to know why I typically ban people. I want to know that I'm not a complete asshole. Okay? Okay. From Iman, I hate you. Bro, using React. So lame. Can you write 5 lines of code without using AI? Lame. AI will replace people like you. Jesus Christ, man. Wow, this guy is so mad. Why would you... And what is Ayman? Is this a country? Ayman, did he mean Yemen? What is Ayman? Oh, it is a country. Arabic is an Arabic masculine given name. Oh, so it's a guy with a small dick. I see. Right? Whenever you give somebody a masculine name, it's probably full of complexes. Right? A real man. Right? Okay, cool. Okay, let's go on. So this guy insulted me deeply. I just didn't feel insulted, but besides that, he did well. Bulke. Okay. Unknown user. So this guy was actually removed from Twitch, it seems. Are you homo or straight? What? Do you have a dev job? What is this follow-up question? Man, this platform is amazing. Wait, let's get into this. Let's get into the mindset of a Twitch guy. Listen to this, dude. This is... No. From a psychological point of view, this is absolutely incredible. He says the posts need to have different background color. Listen. And then he says, are you homo or straight? How did you go from a background to my sexuality? Jesus Christ, man. It's like, oh, I'm so hungry. Elevator. Imagine like, I'm so hungry. Potato chips. That's what he said. Are you homo or straight? Do you have dev job? What? Dude. How much do you earn? Bro hates being a streamer. Have you read clean code? Is it good or bad? Is this considered complex or simple app? Okay, cool. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting getting into mindset of these people. So this was Super Genius. So this is his nickname. Super Genius. Actually, free space. That's a good point, man. I am a very hot person indeed. Thank you, man. Okay, let's go more. Tariff me a new one. Any opinion on tabs versus spaces? Where did you go to school? It sounds like one of the USSR schools. I mean, I am from the Balkans. He wasn't wrong. Yes, it is. Is it because of Golang? Are you familiar with... Alright, this guy didn't deserve a ban, maybe. Yeah, maybe I was a little bit too harsh. Okay. Okay, this guy was trying to sell some shit. Classical. Shaggy. Shaggy91. Fuck, why did I ban this guy? I think this guy used to watch me, man. I mean, I'm sad a bit for this guy. Wait. Wow, you're getting somewhere with this project. Ah, I see. So he is kind of an asshole, right? So let's write, why mad, bro? Yeah. I mean, I am generally mad. That's my kind of standard. I'm kind of mad always. So that's my standard character, right? We need more players in this arena. You get used to it, bro. I had some bitter tea today. I don't know. Let's unban this guy, right? Maybe, yeah. Let's unban this Shaggy. Shaggy was maybe, right? Shaggy, okay. Oh, Leo banned this guy, okay. Why are you frustrated? Alright, it seems you're really frustrated. Yeah, let's unban this guy. I was probably just pissed. Alright, cool. Cool, actually. Yeah, let's not do this anymore. But I didn't know that I can read these things. Very funny. Very funny. Very funny. Alright, give me 20 seconds, then we code something more. I mean, the thing is, right, like, yeah, I mean, I probably banned a few people here and there, and I shouldn't have, right? But, you know, we all need to have both ways. We need to have sympathy and understanding, right? When I'm coding, right, when I'm building a product live with 50, 60, 100 people, and then, you know, and also answer 500 questions throughout the 2-3 hours, right? Of course that you get a little bit irritated. I mean, I'm not a robot, even though I probably am half robot anyway. But, you know, so it's just what it is, right? It's okay. I certainly would never ban a person because I disagree with them, because I literally stream to disagree. In fact, best advice I have for all of you is try to surround yourself with people you disagree with, because that's how you're going to grow, that's how you're going to learn, that's how you're going to leave your echo chamber. And if you constantly just read the same books, stick with the same people, surround yourself with the same crap, when do you grow, right? So I would never ban someone unless they're trolling, because I love when people come here with different opinions, because this is a little bit, streaming is a little bit egoistic, shitty place, because I have all the platform to talk and you guys are, so it's nice to disagree. But if you troll and stuff, then that's not cool, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's just that that's what it is. Okay, but good to know that I can actually read those. That was funny. That was funny. Cool. Okay, so let's go to notifications here once again. And let's actually try to let's just try to do this, right? Again. Refresh. Oops, what happened there? Dashboards. UI errors. Last 5 minutes. Yes, here it is, right? If we get here, yeah, that's the error. So now the main question is going to be, why are we not seeing them here, right? Why are we not... No, man, like, I love discussions. I wouldn't stream, you know, I actually don't stream much. I just stream, what is it now, maybe once a week or so, I don't know. But I love people coming with different opinions. That's really beautiful because you always, you know, even sometimes, you know, we can be stubborn as human beings, but sometimes just listen to a person and then give yourself a day or two, think about what they said, right, and then make a decision, right? It's truly a nice thing. Truly a nice thing. That would actually be hilarious, Rebecca. That would be awesome. Okay, so what the hell is happening here? Yeah, all of this is good, right? Alles gut, as the Germans would say, right? Das ist sehr gut. Das ist sehr gut. So why doesn't it work if it's sehr gut, right? Ooh, this, right? Maybe. Sehr gut. Ja, natürlich. Natürlich. Period during which the threshold condition must be met to trigger an alert. Selecting none. Can I do like none? Oh, that's none. Okay. Sehr gut. Sehr gut. It's fine. We saw it working. It's okay, right? So that's good. So let's actually go to our task over here. And of course, we're gonna need a bunch of other alerts, right? Have you ever been tired of coding and needed to take a rest from it like a week or two? All the time, man. All the time. I mean, I have moments. I mean, of course, I like the rest of you. I have to go to work every day and lead my team and write code myself. But that's why I also stream sometimes 5 days in a row, and sometimes I don't stream for 3 months, right? I only do this when I feel like it, right? Programming network platform whatsoever. Now, when Cedric has joined, I'm gonna do as much as I possibly can because it's very enjoyable. I'm very happy that he joined, and I want to respect his time. Imagine an irony, somebody joining your project and then you're not doing it, right? So, but I would advise always everybody to, obviously I focus on my health. I go to gym 3-4 times a week. I run to work. I eat very healthy. I don't eat trash food or candies. I don't drink alcohol. So of course, I take care of my health. I have a wife and kids, and I want to be alive as long as possible and take care of them, right? So I mean, health first and family first, always, no question about that, right? It's always going to be the priority, and then this comes as a cream on top of the cake, or whatever you say, right? I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy making things. I enjoy sharing knowledge. 25 years ago, when I was 11 years old, I would go to this IT department close to the building where I lived in the Balkans, and these amazing engineers, they changed my life. They would give me books, like I remember a PHP 3 book, Visual Basic book. I guess what I'm trying to say, if there wasn't other developers, I wouldn't be here today. So it's always good to also give back, right? And give an advice that you earned, because that's how I learned as well. I have learned everything I know from others as well, right? So it's a circle. It's a circle that hopefully we will never close. We owe this to each other, just sharing knowledge, mentoring each other, and helping each other, right? So that's why I also like to stream, right? I like to say things that I truly believe that they are, and if you like it, well, take it. If you don't, that's your problem. But so that sums it up. Revaz, just take care of your health, man, and don't burn out. Programming is irrelevant, right? What we do is irrelevant, right? What we do is almost a nice to have thing. But if the world would go to shit, the farmer who knows how to do the land would do way better than you, right? Then your TypeScript knowledge would no longer have any meaning, right? Everybody's different. In order to truly thrive in life, as I said many times, the best investment is family and health, right? As I said many times inside of this stream, people crave or seek for productivity tips, for all these things. But in very rare occasions, they look at the right places. It's not that you need another Kanban board or another Pomodoro technique. In order to be productive, you need to be fulfilled, right? So in order for you to sit in the night and and code for 3-4 hours, it's way easier when you have a partner, when you're fulfilled in other areas of your life, when you're healthy, when you have a nice job, when you have a couple of friends, even one friend, right? And then you can truly enjoy what you do. If I was just alone sitting in this shitty place here, right? Without my family, without my wife, my kids and stuff, no chance I would be doing this now. I would probably be staring at my phone, right? So if you don't want to burn out, if you want to be nicely productive, etc., focus on fulfilling your life. Don't let the work or programming define you, because nobody cares about programming, right? I know programming because I've been doing it my whole life, but there's nothing impressive about it. Any any monkey can learn this, right? Literally any idiot can learn to do this. It's not like mind-blowing. You just have to do it long enough. So there's nothing impressive by making buttons clickable or building APIs or writing CPU drivers, right? That is as stupid as it can be, right? So you go to work and you make modals appear in the user's faces and you're making buttons clickable. Wow, that is impressive. Nobody ever has done it, right? You just made an API. Wow. You get what I mean? So your perception as well can help you greatly to move through life, right? Once you understand that all of these things, then things become a lot easier, right? That's my take. So don't take this works too serious, because you shouldn't. It's nobody cares. Okay, so let's say here. So all alert rules have to be inside files, not manually created through Grafana alert. I mean, don't worry, man. No matter how we feel, right? Alerts have to be inside. Exactly. So UI alerts, UI error alerts, API error alerts, any other microservices. I mean, the only way you can really truly grow in life is to be humble, right? So once you genuinely, and this is, I'm not religious by no means, but this is, I believe, where religion really nailed it. The whole function of religion, when it was invented, was to keep you humble. And you can say that that's contradictory to some behavior of these people, blah, blah, but it doesn't actually matter, right? If you take yourself too seriously, you're essentially stopping yourself from getting the best out of yourself, right? So that is the biggest problem, right? So I'm not saying you should be humble because, like, right? It's more about when you're egoistic and when you're an asshole, you're literally your own biggest enemy, right? And you don't need that. So once you understand that you're genuinely nobody, because we are literally nobodies, then things go so much easier. If you're taking yourself too seriously, then that doesn't help you at all, right? How do I use Terraform to connect my AWS to my GCP? Vicky, I mean, that is a very, very broad question. I don't know what do you want me to... How do you use Terraform? You use it by writing a Terraform file, defining variables, checking the Terraform documentation on AWS. I'm not sure what do you want me to tell you. That's like saying how do I write software, right? So you start by initializing the Terraform project, and then in Terraform project you need to go and take a look at the, you know, the what do you want, Terraform AWS. So you take the AWS provider, you take the Google Cloud Platform, so Terraform GCP provider, and then you start there. So, and thank you very much for the subs and follows, guys. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. Thanks. I hope that you are learning something and having fun. I certainly am. So that's how. There's Terraform is a fairly simple tool. How you use it depends on the providers and how each provider is implemented, which capabilities you have. Obviously, with AWS and GCP, there's a lot. They have hundreds of different services. So depending what it is that you want. So if you want, I don't know, cloud. Let's say you want whatever you want, APG, or you want Vertex AI, right? Or you want BigQuery, right? You want whatever, right? You can find them. So if I wanted now to do something like set up my BigQuery or my Vertex AI, for example, I would go to Vertex AI and I would check what I want, right? So create a data set, whatever, right? If you want AWS S3, if you want to do provision it using Terraform, you would type AWS 3 Terraform. You would find the module, like here it is, the registry, right? Blah, 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 newer version available. You would click that. And here it is. You copy this stuff in your initialized Terraform project. You pass in obviously some environmental variables, some secrets. In the context of GCP, that would be service account key. In the context of AWS, it would probably be some env or whatever. That's how. There's no industrial programming channels. Yeah, maybe you can be the one. I mean, maybe break the, This might be a little bit random, but do you know any NPM libraries to control GPIO pins on a Raspberry Pi? Actually, I had a problem, Mayor. I have a Kubernetes stack of 4 Raspberry Pis right here. Actually, let me show you. I actually started recording a Kubernetes course at what point. I think I even have a picture somewhere of it. Didn't I like take didn't I like put a screenshot of my setup here? And I had an issue with GPIO pins because I wanted to optimize Raspberry Pis when they're like idle. I wanted to turn off the fans, right? Because right now fans are working on them even though CPU utilization is like 0. And I also couldn't find that. And as you can see here, I have it here under fan control. And as you can see, I couldn't because this is my, I have a 1 rack unit. This is what I have. This is how my, I have a rack, a server rack right here. And this is how it looks like. But unfortunately, this kit comes with the fans that are not controllable to GPIO. But I don't think that you need an NPM library for that. You just need to set up, there's bunch of Linux-based binaries that you can control that, right? So I don't think that you need that, basically. Actually, I'll probably share this link anyway with you guys if you care. Okay, cool. So, do you have any recommendation for going multi-region with Postgres in a latency-sensitive app? As I always say, Mitch, I'm not an expert in optimizing Postgres, so my opinion would be worthless. Only thing that I would say is this is the only thing from experience. If I needed something like that, I would definitely use some managed service that helps me with that, right? So I don't think that I've ever built a product in these 18 years of my work where we had a latency sensitive thing like that, like maybe a video game, right? So I can't really answer that. But what I can at least attempt to answer is I would say I would never self-host that or manage myself. Mayor, let's we can just take a look at that. I can actually tell you one library. Give me a second. Python library for controlling fans on RP5. Actually, I've tried using one. When I see it, I will know which one it is. Maybe. Give me 1 second. No, yeah, I think it's this one. Wait, was it this guy? Actually, sorry, I can't actually send it to you. I don't remember. When I was doing this, I don't remember what I attempted using. So ignore me. Sorry. You're gonna have to do it yourself. Yes, Lyso, there was. Yes. Cool. Okay. So what do I want to do now? So let's take a look at my roadmap before I start recording this course. So we have alerts. This one, actually, I'm not going to do. I don't need this. Rate limit traffic and Cloudflare. So yeah, this is going to be Then we have a bunch of Terraform things. This is probably I'm gonna do off stream before I start recording. Then we have review networking, exposed ports and security. I think I've done this pretty good for the most part. We need to make sure that the metrics endpoint isn't actually exposed. That would be a pretty shitty thing, wouldn't it, right? So let's actually double check that. I think it probably is exposed now. Let's actually take a look at that. Let's go to README. Let's open up Swaggerio, or is... Actually, it is exposed, yeah. I'm sure, almost sure it's exposed. Yeah, give me a second. Here it is, right? To be honest, Lucram, I don't think that watching assembly programming would be very fun, right? And to be very frank with you, I don't think that humankind should have ever need to do that, right? So I am a very realistic person in that sense, right? And I do believe that a lot of programming should disappear from human side, right? I don't think that many of you will disagree with this, and that is fine, right? But in time you will understand this as good as I do. But low-level languages are, for a reason you could say, oftentimes portrayed as hard. Because they're not hard because you need some sort of a special IQ to do them. They're hard because they're not natural to the human mind and to how the human expression works, right? So assembly has died for a good reason, under quotes died, I mean. And for a good reason, for years, decades now, we have moved away from low-level programming languages. And this is not a matter of opinion, this is factual. We have moved away because we want to focus on the outcomes, not on the code. And of course, many of us who've spent many years in this industry, we have a hard time accepting this, is because, man, I've spent 20 years learning all of these details, and are you telling me now that this is no longer relevant, right? I get that. I feel like that sometimes as well. But on the other side, I mean, at one point in life, probably, programming languages are going to be as valuable as your spoken languages. Like, wow, the guy can speak, he can use sounds and frequencies to communicate his ideas. This is probably where humanity is moving. And that being said, watching somebody write assembly, jumping back and forth in code, writing go-tos and stuff, this is not only not fun to watch, but it's also simply not something that humans should be doing at the first place, right? Because you're almost, I mean, next level would be just writing ones and zeros, right? So this is the unfortunate thing of the slowly dying dream of, yeah, but I've seen that guy, YouTube has recommended me a video once or twice. That doesn't matter, man. I mean, you like it as a programmer because maybe you're getting pressed or whatever. But these things that are built are useless, right? So the biggest irony of these people who build these things, who have the group of these coders gathered around them, right? Usually young people who get very horny about seeing that stuff. The irony of it is that actually, in reality, nobody cares about that, right? You might find it personally impressive, and I respect that. That's perfectly fine. I cannot take that away from you. But for me, I would never be able to watch that because it bores me, right? First, I can do it myself, and I never would, because why? You know, why would I do that, right? What for? I'm 36 years old, I have a family. Why would I want to do that? So I'm talking about the outcomes, not about fascinating the crowd out there and making money on YouTube. That's also fine, right? So it's a matter of why, right? It's like programming on paper. When I went to university, you know, I did my exams. you know, on paper, right? Is that fun? No, I would never do that, right? Sure, absolutely. I mean, again, I cannot take that away from you. I'm a pragmatic person, right? I want to build things, and I like to use programming to make money, right? I mean, that's cool, 10x programmer. That's great, man. But again, the question is always why, right? For your personal kind of fulfillment, is it worth 1000%, right? If you felt great, but who cares, right? Because what have you really optimized, right? Exactly. But I fully get you, man. I used to do these types of things when I had more time in Pascal and Cobol, right? It's just, unfortunately, I don't have the time. So I kind of envy you a little bit, to be honest, as well, because it's pretty cool to do these things for fun, right? I get you, Lucrum, I get you, man. Absolutely. It's just, it's this streaming programming, right, streaming programming is tough already, right? I mean, apart from a few of these show makers, like this Vim guy, the guy with split keyboard, like this guy that was just mentioned, they're just show makers, right? So actually nobody wants to watch programming happen in reality. Like nobody really wants to watch people build products. That's not cool, right? So that's why you have two or three of these guys who have 1,000 or 500 viewers or 2,000, and then you have rest of us assholes, right? Who are basically just coexisting in this small ecosystem, right? I mean, an average Fortnite player has more viewers than the whole category of programming, right? So what are we talking about, right? So people actually just want to watch green terminals and cool thing, which is okay, right? Yeah, cool story, bro. Cool story, Alex. I love it. I absolutely agree with you, Devin. Absolutely, man. I agree with you. But I'm just telling you, actually, that's not what people want to watch on Twitch. Yep. I don't think that's what people want to watch here, man. I don't think... did I, like... Actually, I need more of you guys to sign up. Come on. Takes 3 seconds, please. Alright, so let's go back here. So this I will... actually, yeah, so there are a few of these things that I will need to do off stream. Finalize system log rotation. Yeah, so we need to... Task can only be completed once the system is clear and documented. The service is added. One wants to... Actually, let me take a look at that. I think I've done this already. And then we have some Postgres stuff, some security stuff. SSL, adding SSL to Postgres. Wait, adding SSL to Postgres through traffic. Let's see, I've never done this, so that's going to be very interesting. I don't actually want to... Do we actually even need SSL? Yeah. I mean, we do... So, I mean, do we need it? Do we need an SSL for our Postgres, considering our Postgres is actually communicating only internally? It's not exposed. Let's ask the robot. I don't think so, but... I just need to run it by someone. So, do we really need SSL on our Postgres database if the database isn't exposed externally outside of the Docker network? I already know the answer, but the answer is slightly vague. And it's slightly vague because of defense in depth, right? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, there we go, right? Yes. Well, no, I mean, so in programming network infrastructure, in this course, the Postgres is going to be internal, right? So it's going to be, you're going to have an API only being able to access it, right? I agree with this. So with this, I agree. And that's what I just said. Also important, right? Very important. Yeah, we need it. We need it. No question about that. %. No point discussing. We absolutely need it. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. Amazing. So we can do it. So we can set up, so right, so we can expose this TCP. We can expose this TCP. We have some labels for it. Let Postgres handle SSL. Okay. Actually, I think I'm gonna do this. Let me see if someone else is doing this. All right, this is a little bit more complicated, so we can't solve it now. Yeah, I don't think routing SQL. Okay, let's write that down. Let's leave this comment in our docs. So I appreciate the advice, of course. We'll need to do our due diligence, of course, and research this. Right? I've never really done it through. Actually, in fact, not just through. I've never really needed to. Did I ever need in my career to configure Postgres and SSL in any like enterprise grade? On any enterprise grade level? Probably not. So it's fine. So it's good. Okay. So going back here. I think we're gonna do this, right? Yeah, so I think that's it, right? I think we have, I'm not gonna do it now, but this is basically what we need to do, right? We'll just do it natively. And that's it, right? Yep. Yep. And then we need to ensure of this. Okay, good. So that research was pretty quick, right? Is there anything here on it? Where's our Postgres? Postgres here. I see. Okay. Do we have Vim installed here? No. No. No, shit. Devin, I'm just preparing. I have built. Let me actually show you what I'm kind of building. This stream is typically about this platform, so this is what I kind of typically do. But right now we're not doing that. Right now we are doing. I want to record a course for Udemy called Infrastructure. Yeah, I think we only have the cat there. So right now, I'm recording basically a course for Udemy that basically covers this whole thing. Planning, design, implementation, test, and deployment. So basically I'm doing a course for Udemy called Infrastructure for Startups that goes from planning and building, blah, blah. So UI, API, security, observability, telemetry, and provisioning, deployment, and blah, 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 right? So just past couple of, or maybe past 5-10 streams when I streamed, I'm just doing this with the community. Good night, Leo, man. I love you, dude. Thank you for being here. Haven't seen you in a while. What makes it special for startups? COGS. Cost of goods sold. It's essentially, I'm trying to build it with the minimal amount of money needed to run this infrastructure, right? Because COGS directly influences how profitable you can be with your product by reducing cost in general, right? And also, of course, control, right? And I guess other things, right? So control, COGS, your ability to not be coupled to any specific services like AWS, GCP, and extensibility, of course, right? Because when you're using Docker Compose or Docker Swarm or whatever, really, when you're not self-hosting per se, but when you're, for example, the course we're gonna host it on Hetzner, you can start with any pricing in mind and then scale very cheaply, right? So that's what makes it, in my opinion, at least. Where's my terminal? So here's the SSL configuration right inside of the container. So yeah, I'll need to do this obviously off stream because I don't know how to do this now. I'll need to research and stuff. But just like with Nginx or any other places where we set up SSL, we'll just need to fill in these fields, right? So I'll need probably. What do you think is more important? I don't think they're mutually exclusive, Devin. I think, of course, fast iterations are the most important, right? But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you have maybe slightly formulated that question almost as if in order to be fast, you need to host things on GCP. That's a huge misconception, right? In fact, I've seen over the years so many companies using GCP and AWS so wrongly that it becomes very questionable if it saves time or not, right? Because first of all, just to be clear, to be on the same page, GCP, AWS, these platforms are amazing. So nobody can neglect that. We use Google Cloud Platform at work where I work. We use Vertex AI, we use Cloud Run and BigQuery and a bunch of services. So that's impossible to self-host yourself, right? And that's what this course is not about. But this course is about showcasing infrastructure to probably 95% of developers who don't know it. It's actually very tragic how many so-called full-stack developers know absolutely nothing about infrastructure, right? So this course is not necessarily a package to sell to startups. It's also a good overview for people who don't know infrastructure, right? I mean, it's tragic how many developers don't even know Docker on a basic level, just running a Docker container, creating volumes, etc., right? So, but moving fast and having fast iterations doesn't mean that you need to use the cloud, right? I don't think that, and I think this is where cloud vendors have won the battle so much because they convinced people that if you're not in the cloud, you're not productive, and that is absolutely not true. In fact, it's maybe cannot be further from the truth, right? If you don't know it, well, I mean, exactly, right? But, right? What do you use instead of the cloud? I mean, I personally, for my projects, for Programmer Network and for other projects that I've built and some companies where I worked many years ago, I mean, there's bunch of service providers where you can rent a machine and then host things in any way you want. I personally use Hetzner, and I've been using Hetzner for almost 20 years. It's been my first company where I hosted things, right? Even from the day of Joomla, WordPress, PHP engine, there's almost nothing that I haven't self-hosted on Hetzner. Right. Exactly. You have DigitalOcean as well. You actually have AWS Lighthouse that a lot of people don't know about. Lightsail, sorry. So actually a lot of people don't know about this service, right? AWS has created a service to counter DigitalOcean. So that this is also a possibility, right? And for commercial customers, I actually haven't tried. I think I've tried CloudNet. I don't think that I've tried this one. No. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I don't know about those, so I'm gonna bookmark them for sure. I trust Hetzner because I am in Europe, in Copenhagen. Let me actually. I'm just gonna move this to random until I categorize them later. Thank you very much for the tips. What did I want to say? What's your take on WordPress and WordPress? I think WordPress is amazing. I think WordPress for building products quickly. I mean, TechCrunch, right? Runs on WordPress, right? This is arguably the most known tech magazine on the planet. They're still using WordPress, right? And it still works. Well, it's my Swedish neighbors, so... Devin, I actually disagree with that. I actually think that what I'm doing here has very little to do. I mean, and it's perfectly fine that you think that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm right. Who knows? But that's the whole point. If you need to know about infrastructure. If you don't know about infrastructure, then you need to use the cloud. And even then you need to know about infrastructure, right? So these abstractions that are just happen to be open source are actually a huge problem. Like, I would never allow somebody to use Coolify or whatever if they don't know the infrastructure, right? I would never allow that, because that is the whole point. Like, my huge conviction is that you must know infrastructure. If you're a full stack developer and you don't know infrastructure, you're not full stack developer. It's just ridiculous, right? And I'm not saying you need to be a DevOps engineer that knows every single hack and security and know layer 2 of networking. When I started my career in 2007, I started as a Cisco engineer, right? So people will need to learn these things, especially as programming skills only as an only function of developer are losing a value. You will have to know a lot more to have a job in the future, right? Knowing how to write an endpoint or React component is no longer be sufficient, right? So I don't think that things like simply that working as a networking engineer is a very static career. It's very hard to grow. It's very hard to grow in that sub industry, right? So don't misunderstand me, Devin. I'm not saying that a developer has to be an expert in everything. Absolutely not. That's literally the opposite of what full stack is anyway. I read a couple of comments on LinkedIn today where a backend guy is complaining he refused to deploy his service that he's programmed because he said, I'm not going to deploy that because I'm not a DevOps engineer. What the fuck, bro? Like, are you kidding me, man? Like, you wrote a simple service and you don't know how to put it on the internet. That's ridiculous, man. Like, I was completely shocked, right? I swear to God, like, I don't know if I can find it. Finding a post on LinkedIn is impossible. But it's just crazy, man. So again, I'm not suggesting that we only have so much capacity to do so many things well. So I'm not saying you gotta be like an absolute expert, whatever. But to not know, Docker today as a developer, to not know basics of security, to not know, like literally security, if you're a backend engineer, software engineer, both, it's your job to know security. It's impossible that you don't know it. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, you need to know what cross-site forgery is. You need to know what a DDoSing is. You need to know at least the basics of the networking stack, right? Like, so what if somebody DDoSes your router, right? Etc. 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 Right? It's funny that right. I think honestly, Devin, I think that it has gotten a lot better with some of these tools. I think that the worst experience that I ever had in my life, maybe 10 years ago, was with self-hosting Jenkins. I would never do that again. Alex, is there any valuable certifications? I mean, for networking, there's CCNA, CCNP. For security, there's... There is Rebecca. Ravaz, I don't think so, man. I think that self-hosted Jenkins, when I worked at Airtime, we had a self-hosted Jenkins, and that was very painful. Jenkins, I believe, is the software that has daily security patches that you have to apply. It's so full of of things. It was just, maybe we just sucked. Maybe we just weren't competent enough. That's also, of course, a possibility. Yeah. But I think, look, when an average, this is my prediction, because of the AI, developers are already feeling pressure. So naturally, people who care about staying relevant will move away from their comfort zones, and they will learn more skills. For me personally, I always loved infrastructure since I was a young kid. I always played with servers. I always self-hosted my own stuff at home, literally since 2000 something, right? And I hope that more developers start loving this, because first, it's super fun. It's a superpower as well, knowing how to manage your own services. It's not hard. It's literally a checklist oftentimes of things you need to know. So right, and when the average skill level of an average developer kind of grows, that's naturally also when infrastructure is going to improve, because you're going to have a base knowledge of a developer is going to be higher, right? Because I think it's inevitable. I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because knowing how to write APIs and frontends and whatever in very soon time is not going to be enough, right? These specializations are not going to exist anymore in this shape and form, right? It's like, oh, I'm an expert at CSS. Sorry, man, not enough. Oh, I can write Go APIs. Not enough value. I cannot pay you 6 figures for that anymore, right? So our profession and people in it will have to grow in time, right? I remember a long time ago when I created my first internet server, I used SendMail. Something was used as a... You know, in 2000, I used to host my own FTP server and my SMTP server, my POP3 server. I remember we switched from, around 1998, I switched from dial-up to DSL. It was ADSL. So man, these were like such fun moments. And then getting an old hub, not switch, for those of you who are old enough, you remember switches, not hubs, right? So before we had smart switches with proper routing and stuff, we had hubs, which were very stupid devices. I remember I was maybe, I don't know, 13, 14. I configured my first, I was younger, hub collision domain. Well, there's somebody old enough. And I remember, man, spending like 3 months summer, Like my old friends were outside playing on the street, and I was configuring that asshole for like 3 months because I didn't know English. I had no idea what hub is. I had no idea what computer networks are. But I had a few UTP cables, and I had that shit to plug it in, and I had 2 computers. I mean, you have a small kid, he can plug cables in one hole and the other. I mean, already, amazingly fun, right? Does any of you guys remember? Yeah, man, dude, like I learned so many things by trial and error. It's insane. Just failing and failing and failing. Do you guys remember this from like 90s? Who is old enough here to remember this? I know that some of you probably are. Do you guys remember this, man? Dude, in the city where I grew up, I almost got killed a few times, dude. I would set up a net bus in these like, oh shit, I'm an idiot, you see me. Sorry. Let me, this. Anybody remembers this? Wait. Net bus. Man. So I would go to these internet cafes, right? I would install the client, and then I would go home and I would open the CD-ROMs of like 25 computers. And people who worked in these cafes, they would go crazy. And then a few of them found out it was me. Man, dude. Because literally you had, and the one that I used wasn't this advanced. The one that I used was like had 5 buttons or something. I remember one of them was like open CD-ROM. Dude, I would spam that. And then I lived like literally across the street of this like a computer like bar or whatever. And then I would open the CD-ROM like an idiot. And then I would go look them, just go crazy. I would just leave my place, run over the street, and then look at them like, what the fuck is happening? Dude, that's how Windows back then had no security, man. No security. You could you disable firewall. It's like, you disable firewall and that computer is saying, hey, internet, I'm yours. I'm yours, do whatever you want with me. That's what security back then. It was insane, man. I actually don't know how our computers survived that time at all, because it was really, really brutal. Ah, man, I think mine looked like this, but yeah. Exactly. And then there was this Linux disto called Backtrack. Do you guys remember this? I don't know if this still exists. Man, I remember this, dude. I was working as a networking engineer, and I would go to a park with my laptop. I would sniff the network, with the local wireless network with no encryption, and then I would just break the encryption keys. Dude, that was fun time, and it was so simple, man. Oh, dude, Chinese Wi-Fi dongle. Yeah, that all sounds counter secure, but yeah, man. Yeah, dude, it was so simple to break. Today, it's so hard to hack anything. The only thing you can really hack today is you can do some social engineering, right? I remember when kind of Facebook came out a little bit later, I was getting. Actually, I shouldn't reveal this. Let's just forget that. I'm gonna get arrested. Fuck that. No. But cool story. Shit. Okay. Let's see, what is this? Yeah, for sure. No, man, I just revealed a little bit too much. I got ahead of myself. So I do this usually when I sit with my friends, but saying it publicly online, I'm not a hacker. Big blaster, dude, I'm not a hacker, man. I'm far from being a hacker. Everything I said here, wasn't really hacking, right? It was more of a knowing the right tools for the right problem, right? So this was not hacking at all, right? I was not, no, I'm not smart enough to be a hacker. Anyway, I can tell you, if you want to be a hacker, social engineering is the easiest thing, because people will reveal anything to you. If you know how to chat to them, if you have social skills, you want to, you know, hack a Facebook profile, social engineering. Hey, where are you from? Oh, you grew up in X. Yes. Oh, same. What's did you have a dog? Yeah, my dog name was, I don't know, Pitbull, right? And then you go and reset the email, and literally 99.9% of the cases they use exactly these security questions. Like, what is the name of your dog? What is the... Dude, you find someone's email, you go to reset the password, you figure out what the security questions are, and then you ask these questions to a person. How stupid is that, man? Oh, you grew up in Ireland as well. I see. Was it... what was the name of the city? That's called hacking. That's called hacking. By the way, this thing runs on WordPress, right? So somebody asked me, what do I think about WordPress? This thing runs on WordPress, right? So if we like take a look at the Webalizer, if you don't have the Webalizer, if you don't know the Webalizer is a Chrome extension where you can see the stack of the website that you visit, right? So I can actually share it with you if you don't know. Oh, I misspelled that completely. Anyway, somebody asked me, right? Somebody asked me about WordPress. What do you think, Alex? What do you think about WordPress, right? And does it really matter what I think? Really, like when we observe internet, right, we realize that 60-70% of the websites are probably still running on PHP. And no matter how much and how hard we shit on PHP, these businesses are still generating millions of revenue, right? So while we are wasting time shitting on things, people are building businesses, right? You can see, I mean, this is the most popular tech magazine on the planet. And if it's enough for them, it's probably enough for you as well, right? So if this crappy tool, as many developers will say, too busy trying the latest JS. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is that. But you can see Redux. So they're using. So they're. I think they have probably at this point switched to the WordPress API. I mean, you don't need Rust and C for 95% of things, right? Because as Devin or someone else who was here was said, right? If you're any rational human being about building products quickly, you're going to find a balance. If you're CTO, team lead, tech lead, you will choose a stack that favors the business always. No matter what a sweaty basement developer tells you, any reasonable founder who has a limited amount of money, angel, maybe pre-seed, whatever, will choose something like where hiring people is easy, where scaling the team is easy, where community support is mature, where module ecosystem is mature, right? So that's why it's very hard for new languages and new tools to gain traction, because let's say if we talk about JavaScript, right? If we talk about stencil.js and Svelte and all of these things, no matter how good they are, like one fundamental thing that many developers don't understand is that if you have a strong ecosystem of tools and you want to make people switch from one tool to another, you need to build something so much better. So much better. Like, we're not talking about, Rust is 60% faster than, I don't know, Go or whatever. It has to be 500% faster for businesses who invested millions and billions of dollars into the development to switch to that, right? So in simple words, like this, right? So if you have a, let me tell you an example. Let me tell you the example from, let's say, let's imagine you have, many people here, I guess, are familiar with let's say, JavaScript. So let's put it this way, right? So let's imagine before we had jQuery, right? And around jQuery time, we had, I'll just use this stack as an example, but you can apply it to really anything. Then we had like Knockout.js, Ember.js, Angular 1, right? But then Angular 1 came out, right? And you could say that for the first time in a history of programming, of web programming, right? You had a real opinionated, pattern-based, pattern-wrapped framework, right? This was the first actual real framework with all the opinions you need. This is how we fetch data. This is how we do routing. This is how we do dependency injection, etc., right? So this had to be so much better. I mean, in theory, I think it was, for us to adopt this, right? And then reactjs came out, right? And you could say that reactjs was a lot better because it was a lot simpler, etc., right? So we went from like, imagine this is an X and Y. So Angular was here, and then React was here. So it was so much better. It was, let's say, X times better. So community went with this thing, right? But what's happening now? Now you have things like, I don't know, like the Svelte or whatever. So you have Svelte, right? Svelte came out, let's say now, let's imagine. Maybe it's here. Maybe in some sense it's better. It's like, it's faster. It compiles this like that, right? But this distance between them, right, is so marginal that no rational business on the planet is going to say, let's switch to this dot here because it's 13% faster and it has better routing. This is not how businesses operate. I mean, business wouldn't exist if we did business this way, right? So in order for community to embrace new things, existing thing has to be here and a new thing has to be here, right? That much better, right? So when we talk about, like, I don't know, another example, when we talk about Node.js, and then we talk about, you know, Bun.js or whatever, and any of this garbage, like there's 7 billion of these things coming out every day. Like, what is really the difference between these, right? I mean, what is the distance between these? So we drop 15 years of this because this, you know, can deliver 1,000 more requests per instance, right? Or whatever it is, right? Or this one. Oh, dependencies, it's more secure, I don't know, executables. Who cares, man? This is not what a business is going to do because you now have, like, it has to be so much better. It has to be so much better, right? So this is the thing. And why do I say this? It's because adoption is really hard, right? Adoption is not dictated by developers per se. It's dictated by businesses, right? Imagine you have a company and you invested 7 years of money into development and stuff. You're not just going to say, let's move from, I don't know, this to this because this is 23% faster, right? I mean, that would be ridiculous. I mean, your company would be, right? So, you get what I mean? So this is why adoption at certain times in time has worked so well because things were so much more better. So much, like this thing here was so much better than this. And I think it still is. That's why this thing won, right? By a huge, and that's why it's still winning because it has a perfect balance of convenience, simplicity, and community and ecosystem and maturity and stuff like that. So you can build the most amazing programming language on the planet and framework or library, whatever, but good luck with adoption, right? Because it has to be out of the world for people to start using it. Aqua, good evening, buddy. How are you? Luckily, us nerds are not making these decisions. Otherwise, no business would ever operate with profit if we would be making decisions. Oh, this new thing came out. Should we switch because it's 17% faster in request delivery? What keyboard? I have so many keyboards, man. This one is I don't know. It's a mechanical keyboard. Ah, fuck. I just revealed that I'm not using a split keyboard. Many of you will now leave. Fuck. I'm sorry, guys. No, this is completely not. This is not a keyboard that I usually use. I definitely use a split keyboard. It's just a mistake. Yeah. Fuck. Can't get myself out of this situation. Yeah. Am I even cool? Actually, to my defense, actually, I don't give a shit about operating systems. I use all of them. It's very hard to stream from anything else than Windows, right? Because obviously, all of my services here are running inside of Windows Linux subsystem, but this microphone, the lights, the camera, nothing literally works on Linux. So of course, for work, I use macOS, and my personal laptop is running Ubuntu, but Linux is unfortunately still far from. Yeah, so this is a streaming PC. I literally built this for streaming and for various other things, right? But it's yeah. Prime content. Yeah. I mean, sure, Rebecca, but I don't want that, right? I don't need that because I prefer convenience. I don't need two computers because if you remember, right, this PC is like $7,000 or something, right? If you take a look at my hardware here, right? Actually, it's probably more. It's just some of the prices are not here. So this is the price of my equipment here, but I think it's actually a lot more than that, right? Because some of the prices are also not there, like. And actually, this other keyboard is not there. But I don't need I don't need the I don't play video games, no. But as you can see, if we actually go here, right, you can see I have 64 gigs of DDR5. I have RTX 4070 Ti. I started as a Cisco engineer and a MikroTik engineer, yeah. Used to play the worst games, yeah. What am I doing right now? To be very honest with you, I'm just chatting with the community and answering some questions. But today in this stream I was configuring Grafana, an alert manager, and Frontend and Loki to parse the logs from my frontend, then route them through my API, and then so I was basically building centric.js, just my own version, kinda. Because I'm recording a course for Udemy called Infrastructure for Startups and Indie Hackers, and I just want to focus on building an infrastructure that's as cheap as possible. It's not, really? I think it is. It is. Video card, it is. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. All right, let's see if there's any other interesting remarks. Otherwise, I'm gonna go do a little bit of work on Programmer Network. So not on this thing. I promised to Cedric that I'm gonna finish some stuff. So let's see if any of you, my friends, have any remarks or anything. I'm very happy to help if you need an opinion, advice, or anything like that. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel, just so you know. So if you care, I do random stuff. So if you want to give it a ask a bit further, let me read. I'm not using OpenTelemetry for this course. I was actually considering it, but yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, let's just answer that question. So yes, I did start as a network engineer in 2007 or 8. That's when I started professionally working, and ever since then I worked every single month. And I switched from that because I realized very early, after 2.5 years working as a network engineer in one ISP company called Svesat. It was a wireless internet provider. I realized that, first of all, I was also programming at that time, so I loved programming as well. But I've also noticed that career of a programmer looked way more bright than a network engineer. And also, let's face it, for every network engineer you need probably 1,000 programmers. So in simple words, the amount of network engineers you need to hire is way lower than the amount of software developers. So when I was relatively early in my career, I realized that JavaScript is going to take over the world, which it did. And then I made a financial bet on it, which turned out to play really well, right? Because fundamentally, at one point in life, you grow up and then you make decisions based on what you're gonna gain out of it the most. So of course, I could have I could have continued writing C or Pascal or COBOL back then, but I was rational enough to know, like, I realized relatively early that the browser is the next most popular runtime, which it is. You can like it or not. That doesn't change the fact there's, I think, 4 billion devices or something running the browser. So so that's why I switched. It just made sense. And yes, there is a lot more developers and software than network engineers, but there's also thousands more jobs for developers than network engineers, right? That is the problem, right? That is the main problem. Alex, I discovered on YouTube actually from the start. Oh, you found my video. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't promote my videos much. That's what it is. It sucks. I do believe that these videos would help a lot of people because I record them in this format. I think the problem with YouTube is that people have so very little focus that if you don't entertain them every 3 seconds on the video, they just leave, right? Whenever I go to a video comment section on YouTube, the main comments are like, wow, what a video production, or wow, what a great cinematic video. And I'm thinking, man, like, if you come to the video to get educated, do I have to fucking have a monkey dancing on my shoulder for you to focus? Are you there for entertainment every single second, or are you there to learn something? I don't actually genuinely understand that you have to be a fucking entertainer when teaching people something. It's literally like, oh, let me teach you about the meaning of life while juggling bananas and fruits and while, you know, sucking the asshole from a monkey, right? It's like, dude, can you just focus for 3 seconds, right? And listen to what the person is saying. It's I don't get it, right? It's ridiculous. But that's unfortunately YouTube in a nutshell, and you either play that game or you don't. Do you think there's more problem solving in programming rather than network engineering? I think there's far more problem solving in programming than network engineering, right? Network engineering is relatively static, right? I mean, at least for the time where I worked as a network engineer, I don't think that I wasn't programming the firmware of Cisco switches or MikroTik switches or routers. I was ensuring that the internet works. I was connecting wireless relays, etc., right? So I'm no longer a network engineer. So I'm no longer considered a network engineer. For those of you who don't know, once you pass your Cisco certification, you need to take it every 4 years, right? I worked as a Cisco engineer what was it, 16 years ago, right? So I forgot a lot of it, right? When I was going to Cisco Academy, it was 4. I don't know now. Maybe it's 3. I don't know. When I was going to I literally went to Cisco Academy, it was 4. So I don't actually remember. If you guys say it's 3, then it's 3. But either way, I'm officially no longer Cisco certified, right? Because of that. Alex, I'm a young wolf and luckily I have a software, but after work I'm too exhausted to study. How can I get more energy to push myself to get to the next level? As I said, so it's a very good question, Big Blaster. And as I always said, you can only have a good life if your life is balanced, right? You need to exercise, you need to train, you need to live a healthy life, you need to hopefully have a desire to form a family, right? These are the, like, I'm genuinely convinced, because I know, I have wife and kids and I play guitar and saxophone and I stream and I build product in my free time. And so you can do all of these things if you are driven by something core in your life. For me, that's my family, right? So my wife and my kids and stuff, that's the thing that inspires me the most. And then everything else becomes a lot sweeter in life, right? So if you are just feeling not doing anything after work, then you need to find your reasoning why, right? Most likely you lack some of these things. Either friends, either physical activity, right? As you know, in healthy body, healthy spirit, right? So again, as I always say, in no discussions ever these things are mentioned. But for majority of people today, the lifestyles that we're living, we're just sitting non-stop, just sitting and sitting and sitting. People are just full of energy, right? And that energy has to be either spent in a gym or by running or whatever, or you just internalize it. You just turn it into anxiety, turn it into stress, right? It's ridiculous, I know. It might bore you what I'm saying, but it doesn't make it untrue, right? You need to train, you need to go to work, you need to do the basic things, and you need to take the control of your life, right? That is simply like that. You need to take the control of your life, not just the work life, because work is not life. Work is part of your life, but work shouldn't define you. If work defines you, you're gonna get disappointed so hard that you will then be one of these people on LinkedIn. Oh, I put so much effort and I got laid off. Dude, that's because you created unrealistic mindset about what a work is. Work is a mutual transaction where somebody is paying you for the value you provide. Once you no longer provide that value, or once no longer that value is needed, you get fired. In the same way as once you find someone else who is willing to pay more for what you provide, you also quit. And this is literally what work is. If you have any other feeling about work, you're gonna get so disappointed. So if you go to work and you think, oh, I'm so important, this company would not exist without me, shut the fuck up. That cannot be further from the truth. So work is a transaction between two parties. You found someone that needs your services and they pay you for these services. When these services are no longer needed, you're no longer going to be paid. There's nothing here moral, empathetic, fair or unfair. This is literally how world works and how it should work. When I see these people crying on the internet about, oh, they laid us off, how dare they? It's like, dude, are you fucking 11 years old? It's business. It's not charity. And that's how it works. So that's why it's important to build yourself around work, other aspects of your life, so you don't just depend on work. If your whole life resides around work, you're fucked, right? That's it, man. Nobody likes you more in this planet than maybe your parents, your close family. Nobody else gives a shit about you. Don't forget that. I don't give a shit about you. You don't give a shit about me. You're gonna leave the stream and maybe never come back. So let's not deceive ourselves, right? Focus on people that care about you. Focus about yourself. And that's it, man. Don't create some twisted realities that are simply, right? It's ridiculous. People have to really get back into reality, right? I think we have lived so well at least in the Western part of the world. I think we have lived so well for so long that we got so spoiled. And when you get so spoiled, what happens to you is that you literally lose sense of reality, right? When you go to fucking Africa or to Somalia, and when you see that these people are literally happy because they are alive today and they might not be tomorrow, and then you compare their personal perception with your own, you realize how deluded you are, right? Oh, this is not fair. Oh, that is not fair. Oh, this should be like this. This should be like, shut the fuck up, man, right? Like, don't create these illusions, because you're just gonna set yourself up for massive failure. So, do what you like, learn new stuff every day, understand that you're literally a product, a person that needs to sell oneself, and that's it. And life is not fair, man. That's how it is. There's no such thing as fair, unfair. There's 8 billion, 9 billion people, man. And each one of these people want to have good life just like you want. Each one of these people want to make something out of themselves, so it's ridiculous to think otherwise. Nobody is special, we are all irrelevant, and we all try to get the best for ourselves. That's how it works. That's the reality. Exactly, Cedric, man. So if you ever feel like down, let me just rephrase and then we end the stream. If you live in the Western part of the world, you have a shelter, a home, food every day, some commodities like internet, computers, telephones. If you come from work with having all that and you're still feeling down, you're like, I want to cry, my advice to you is this. Buy a flight ticket to some third world country, spend a month there, gain a perception of how many people on this earth live, what they struggle with every day, and then go back home. Because if you don't have the perception, if you can't intellectually understand what you have, so if you're waking up every day and focusing on the things that you don't have, that means that you're spoiled. And if you can't satisfy yourself with all the things that you already have, then you need a shift of your perception. So it means you need to take yourself to some shitty place to understand what you have. So many smart people enough can appreciate what they have and they can lift themselves up. They can feel good. They can say, fuck, I'm grateful. And I'm not even exaggerating, like literally, right? If you can't be grateful sufficient enough with what you have, then you need an external factor to, how do I know? I was born in the Balkans, right? I lived through the war in 90s. There were 2-3 months of time where I couldn't eat anything. I was eating fat from a can, so like pig fat. There were times when there was no bread, there was no water. So I had built this perception when I was younger, and that has built me up to a point where I have developed this thinking where I realized that, fuck, I mean, if I have survived all of that as a kid, am I gonna cry because I'm gonna maybe lose my job? I'm not gonna buy a new iPhone, right? Like, you get what I mean? So if life hasn't given you an ability to go through some bad things, then take yourself to such place somewhere and you're gonna build that perception, right? I'm not saying that you have to wake up every day and cry because people in Africa somewhere are starving. Nobody's suggesting that, but again, many of us are spoiled by life and we need a different perception. We need different perspective, right? What are the third world countries? Actually, I agree with you. That's a very shitty also term. I actually hate the term third world countries. I think it's very... Yeah, it's actually, we need to stop using that. But let's just rephrase it. Take yourself somewhere where it just things don't work. So this is my philosophy personally, and it works, right? And I hear a lot of people complain all the fucking time, all day long, just complaining, bitching. And typically the people that I see doing this are people on LinkedIn who are the most privileged in Galaxy. In Galaxy, man. Like, I rarely hear a person that has nothing who complains. It's just these fucking idiots just complaining about every single thing all the time, man. Lyso, likewise, man. You too. It's ridiculous, man. And I'm genuinely saying this, guys. I'm saying this genuinely because some of these discussions we're having now are so fundamental for every single one of us that if you truly want to get the best out of yourself, you cannot ever achieve that fully without understanding things that you have, things that you can have, things that others don't have. Like, so if you live in your own bubble, isolated and protected from everything, you will never reach your full potential. It's just impossible because you will always bitch about something. You will always talk about fairness, about, right? And with that, you'll only go down. It's impossible. All right. Cedric, thank you very much for posting that. That's just how it is. I hope this advice finds you well. Genuinely, I like talking about these things, and I try to affect my friends, my family, I felt now I'm talking to friends, and this is what I actually do very often, talk to friends, because it's important to talk about perceptions and perspectives, and because I don't think we talk about these things too good, right? Because if you live in a twisted reality, in some different, like a bit of talk, do you think someone moving to Denmark can live just by English? Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think Danish people in general, when it comes to English, are maybe top 3, top 4 in the world. Definitely possible. Globalism, yeah. Honestly, let us build a programmer network. When I have 50 people there that can post interesting things, I'll never go to LinkedIn again. LinkedIn is the unfortunate necessity in life. LinkedIn, I never in my life had Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Actually, some of them I've never even seen. LinkedIn I have, and I had it for many years because it's good for finding jobs. These other platforms I never in my life signed up for and stuff like that, because I love my life and my time and I respect it, and I don't want to be wasting my time looking at I don't want to be the engagement score. I don't want to be a metric. Like when you spend this, like, how do I know this? I work for a company called Dream Data, right? And at Dream Data, we're building the product, business-to-business platform for marketing attribution and a bunch of other things. When you understand how tracking works, how these platforms work, you then realize that you're literally a metric. You as a human there, you're basically a metric. You are a click ID. You are an anonymous ID. You are a form submission. You are a newsletter relation to that anonymous ID, etc. Right? So fundamentally, when you realize that you're just a number in that whole thing, you just realize that you have to stop using it, right? I think me and my wife, we removed Facebook. I did have Facebook early on in my life, and I've been with my wife now for almost 18 years. well, since we were 18. Now I'm 36, and I've been with my wife since I was, so yeah, 18 years. Wow. Then we removed it when we were pretty young, and we never made it back again. So, and that was the probably the most amazing. I have seen some woman I know getting hit on toy. You always have rednecks, man. You have people yeah. Man, literally, just to round up this stream. And please, value your time. Just value your time, guys. Literally, like, I don't know what else to tell you. Don't waste your life on these things. Seriously, like, it's better to go and jerk off for 4 hours. You're gonna feel better, or watch Netflix or whatever. But there's no worse time spent ever than scrolling through these feeds. Let me recommend you a book. I'm gonna recommend you a book. I'm gonna paste a link. You can read this book in around 40 minutes. It's very short. No, this is very different. It's called The Dopamine Detox. This is a brilliant book. You can actually get an also, it's $3. This book really, ad sponsored by Pornhub confirmed. Yeah, exactly. But this book is super short, and it speaks about dopamine, right? So the what happens to your brain. I remember, for at least for us men, back in the day, an average man would wake up and scratch his balls, right? That's just natural. Today, an average man wakes up like this, and then scrolls, right? Of course, men and women alike, right? And by the time you start your day, you're already exhausted because you saw Putin, Trump, cats, dogs, hot chick generated by AI, earthquake in Japan, Santorini, 6 Richter, right? So by the time you come to work from the social media, you're already terrorized mentally. This is even worse for children and like kids. Kids go to school. By the time they sit in a classroom where they're supposed to learn something, they're terrorized mentally as well because they scroll through so much stuff, right? So try to read that book that I've sent up there. I think it's gonna illustrate what happens when you do that. All right, guys, I need to go. Try to remove social platforms, except Programmer Network. Programmer Network is the best. Actually, what an irony. A guy literally talking about removing social platforms for like 20 minutes and then shamelessly sells his own. Thanks for advice, Chris. Guys, thank you very much. My pleasure. It seems some of you have at least appreciated something I said. Thank you. Lastly, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So please don't. I speak, a lot of things I speak are from my butthole. Mind my French, and so be careful with that. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Good night. Kirill, good to see you, man. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye.